Holden receives a punch from Kyle after becoming aware of Claire's secret of having a child in Los Angeles. The CBS Y&R reveals of the future. The atmosphere in the room appeared to get more dense, and it was packed with tension that could not be alleviated by any amount of sunlight that fell through the windows of the CBS studio in Los Angeles. Kyle Abbott's hands shook at his sides, and his knuckles tightened into fists as he attempted to digest the news that had just blasted through the neatly crafted universe he had created for himself. In spite of the fact that she had always been someone he trusted, his sister-in-law, Claire, had concealed a child from him. "It is a child." His ears continued to reverberate with the words, which were unrelenting and harsh. Claire had admitted, "I have a son," with her eyes welling up with feelings of remorse and anxiety. It appeared as though the burden of her secret had caused her to age physical appearance in an instant. Kyle had been staring at her, his feelings of astonishment gradually transforming into rage, and then into something more sinister, something more fundamental. In a single, breathless instant, a lifetime of devotion, of trust in the family, and of memories that were shared felt like it had been broken. The attempt to intercede was made by Holden, who was standing nearby and displaying his typical calm but cautious approach. It was as if he were walking a tightrope over a pit of fire when he began his sentence with the words, "Kyle, just," his voice was hesitant. However, Kyle had already lost his temper. A single moment of recklessness had brought together years of pent-up rage, feelings of betrayal, and impulses to protect. Holden's jaw was right in the middle of Kyle's hand when it blasted out of his grasp. The room was filled with the piercing sound of impact, the kind that caused the furniture to tremble and the coffee mugs to shake vigorously. Holden stumbled backwards, his palm leaping to his face, and his eyes widening in horror. Yet, Kyle appeared to be unaware of this. The storm that was raging inside of him was so intense that it needed an outlet. He was consumed by it. "You knew." The voice of Kyle was gruff, raspy, and raw as he yelled. "You were both aware, but you didn't inform me about it. To no one, not even myself." The tears began to trickle down Claire's cheeks as her face became contorted and her lips began to tremble. "I beg you, Kyle. It is difficult to understand. I didn't intend to cause you any harm, complicated." The tone of Kyle's voice became a growl. "Claire, this is not in any way complicated. What a betrayal this is." His eyes were blazing with the accusation as he turned his back on Holden. "Also, Holden, don't be under the impression that I don't notice this. It is not your responsibility to conceal things like this from me. You are meant to be the one who keeps me grounded." Holden moved forward with caution, attempting to quiet the storm that was raging over him. "Listen up, Kyle. Using violence is not going to solve things. To cause you pain, I did not lie. What you need to realize is that," while his chest was heaving, Kyle interrupted him. "What do you mean? To what extent am I meant to comprehend the fact that my family has been living a lie right in front of my very eyes?" The sadness and rage that he was feeling now mixed together in his voice. "I trusted you both." The moment Claire collapsed to her knees, she grabbed the hem of her blouse with both hands, as if she were trying to cling to a lifeline. "Kyle, I am very sorry. I never intended for it to be presented in this manner. I was under the impression that I was safeguarding everyone." The words, the apology, were felt by Kyle, but they did not do much to put out the fire that was burning in his chest. He retreated some distance, ran his hand through his hair, and paced about the room in a manner that resembled a predator surrounding its prey. Even though Holden rubbed the area of his jaw where Kyle had struck him, he did not strike back. He was aware that Kyle's suffering was not focused on him in particular, rather, it was about trust, family, and the unexpected disintegration of everything that Kyle had believed. The only sounds that could be heard were Claire's gentle cries and Kyle's deep breaths. There was silence for a considerable amount of time. Afterward, Kyle ceased his pacing and slowly relaxed his grip on his hands. He did not feel better since fury is not a salve. Nonetheless, he was able to see the truth now, in its raw and unfiltered form. His family had changed, secrets had surfaced, and there was no going back to the innocence that he had always taken for granted. There was no animosity in Kyle's eyes when they met Holden's, rather, there was something more complicated. "I am hurt." Confusion is present, and behind it all, a glimmer of hope that they would be able to make it through this, that the family could be able to persevere, even when the cracks were deeper than anyone had anticipated they would be to begin with. He took a breath that was trembling. This doesn't just go away," he finally remarked, his voice becoming more subdued but staying the same level of intensity. "You can't just pretend nothing happened." As Holden fixed his jacket and massaged his jaw, Claire nodded through her tears. Holden also massaged his jaw. One thing was certain, despite the fact that they were all injured and defenseless, and that was the fact that nothing in Genoa City or Los Angeles would ever feel the same again.